the Starfall Garden. The night stretched quietly, soft as velvet, a deep indigo canvas sprinkled with faint stars. Above, the sky shimmered with gentle light, each star hanging like a lantern in a vast, peaceful hall. She walked slowly along a narrow, mossy path, feeling the coolness of the night air on her skin, mingling with the subtle fragrance of flowers that only bloomed in the moonlight. Each step was soft, cushioned by the moss and fallen petals, as though the garden itself welcomed her into its quiet rhythm. The Starfall Garden revealed itself gradually in delicate glimpses. Tiny bursts of falling starlight landed on flowers, leaves, and the water of a small pond, each one igniting with a gentle glow. The plants absorbed the light, petals trembling with a soft pulse, casting gentle reflections across the paths. She paused, breathing deeply, letting the faint warmth and magic of the starlight seep into her chest. Every flicker of light felt alive, deliberate, as though the stars themselves had chosen to descend slowly to share their wonder. From behind a cluster of glowing flowers emerged a creature no bigger than her hand, a tiny, luminescent fox, its fur glimmering in silver and gold. It looked at her with curious, gentle eyes and approached carefully. She knelt, letting her fingers hover just above the soft moss, and the fox brushed against her hand, its warmth spreading quietly into her heart. The connection was tender, wordless, a silent welcome into the serenity of the garden. Deeper into the garden, she noticed the first starfall trees, tall, graceful forms whose leaves absorbed the light of the stars and released it in gentle pulses. Among the branches, small creatures with shimmering wings rested quietly, wings brushing each other in slow, melodic motions. She moved softly, careful not to disturb them, and felt each gentle motion echo in her own chest as calm and wonder. The air was thick with magic, yet comforting, like a familiar blanket. She sat on a soft mound of moss beneath one of the starfall trees, letting her legs curl beneath her. Tiny fireflies, or perhaps fragments of fallen stars, danced lazily around her, their glow reflecting softly on her skin. She inhaled slowly, filling her lungs with the scent of night flowers, warm earth, and the faint metallic sweetness of starlight itself. Each exhale released the remnants of tension from the outside world, leaving only the quiet heartbeat of the garden. A pond shimmered nearby, its water perfectly still, except for the occasional ripple as a falling star met the surface. Tiny, luminescent fish darted beneath the surface, leaving trails of light that spread like whispers across the water. She dipped her fingers in gently, feeling the faint warmth of the magical water, a pulse that mirrored the rhythm of the stars above. The garden was teaching her, without words, that magic and peace exist in the slow, attentive noticing of small, radiant moments. Above her, more stars fell quietly, each one landing softly on flowers, leaves, and moss, igniting tiny bursts of light. She noticed a circle of mushrooms glowing in response to the starfall, the mushrooms' light flickering like candles in harmony with the sky. A soft hum seemed to emanate from the ground itself, gentle and steady, a rhythm she could feel in her chest. The garden moved slowly, deliberately, teaching her that presence and patience are themselves forms of magic. As she leaned back on the moss, letting her eyes drift across the glimmering creatures and luminous plants, she realized the fox had curled beside her, small warmth radiating softly. Tiny winged creatures perched overhead, their wings brushing leaves and casting moving shadows. The rhythm of the garden The soft rustle of leaves, the distant trickle of water, the gentle pulse of starlight lulled her senses, guiding her into stillness. Time stretched and softened, unimportant in the quiet of this magical place. She allowed her thoughts to drift, carried on the slow, deliberate motion of the Starfall Garden. Every flicker, every shimmer, every tiny sound was a whisper. Patience, attention, and quiet wonder carry their own gentle light. She closed her eyes slowly, letting the serene magic of the garden flow into her chest, into her mind, and into her dreams. She stirred slightly on the moss, letting her hands hover above the soft ground. The tiny luminescent fox at her side twitched its ears, flicking a gentle light from its tail like a slow heartbeat. Around her, fireflies and fragments of falling stars drifted lazily, brushing petals and leaves, leaving faint trails of soft light. The garden's rhythm was deliberate and comforting, a slow pulse that seemed to synchronize with her breathing. A gentle stream wound through the glade, glowing faintly with collected starlight. She traced her fingers along its edge, feeling the cool shimmer of magical water against her skin. Small fish, their scales glittering like miniature constellations, swam slowly around her hand, circling as if performing a quiet ritual of welcome. Every detail, no matter how small, felt imbued with a calm intention. Above her, a cluster of starfall trees released petals that floated downward, glowing faintly in the soft night. Tiny winged creatures, no bigger than hummingbirds, perched upon the branches, their wings brushing leaves, each beat sending ripples of gentle light across the ground. She noticed a pattern. Each creature moved deliberately, slowly, as though aware that haste would disturb the delicate harmony of the garden. A larger creature appeared from the shadows, a silver dragon, barely the size of a fox, its scales flickering like ember light. It approached carefully, sniffing the air before settling beside her quietly. Its presence was warm, reassuring, and utterly calm. She stretched out a hand, and the dragon nudged it softly, letting her feel the subtle pulse of magic within its tiny, glowing form. She realized then that every being in this garden existed in slow awareness, and that their magic was patient, gentle, and kind. She rose and walked slowly along the soft moss path, letting her eyes take in every gentle detail. Luminescent mushrooms glowed faintly beneath her feet, and soft moss cushioned her steps. She paused at a small pond, watching ripples expand outward as tiny falling stars met the surface. The water shimmered with every movement, reflecting moonlight and soft glimmers from the surrounding plants. A faint hum, almost like whispered music, rose from the garden itself, filling her ears and chest with a soothing resonance. The fox trotted beside her, and tiny winged cats leapt silently from branches, casting gentle shadows on the mossy ground. Every movement was deliberate, slow, and purposeful. She sat once more on a gentle rise of moss, leaning back to watch the stars above and the creatures below. The garden had become a sanctuary of patience, presence, and calm. She felt each heartbeat, each pulse of light, as a reminder that magic exists where one moves slowly and observes quietly. As her eyelids grew heavier, the fox curled next to her, the tiny dragons nestled in glowing mushrooms, and the winged cats rested in the branches overhead. The garden's rhythm enveloped her entirely, a lullaby of slow, deliberate light and motion. She exhaled softly, releasing all tension, and let herself become part of the gentle pulse of the Starfall Garden, sinking deeper into serenity. The night deepened, and the glade glimmered softly under the infinite stars above. Tiny creatures flitted between glowing flowers, leaving faint trails of warm light. The fox lifted its head, its luminous eyes reflecting a tiny star that had landed nearby, and nudged it gently toward her. She watched the star flicker in response to her gaze, feeling warmth and wonder spread across her chest. A small hill emerged ahead, carpeted with moss and soft, glowing flowers. She climbed slowly, noting every soft rustle beneath her fingers, the gentle movement of petals in the night breeze. At the top she paused, inhaling deeply. The view across the garden was breathtaking. Streams of glowing water weaving between clusters of luminescent plants, tiny dragons flickering softly as they roamed, and winged cats perched atop softly glowing trees. Each motion, no matter how subtle, carried magic and intention. Nearby, a circle of mushrooms glimmered in soft, rotating colors. A tiny fox cub emerged, its fur like liquid silver, and joined the circle, moving in slow, deliberate steps. She watched as it mirrored the subtle movements of the other creatures, understanding that even the smallest being could harmonize perfectly with the garden's rhythm. Above, more stars fell gently, each one causing a faint ripple in the glow of the plants. She reached out a hand, letting a few drift to her fingertips. Each pulse of light sent a delicate warmth into her skin, filling her with calm joy. She realized that the magic of the Starfall Garden was not in grandeur or spectacle, but in these quiet, gentle moments of connection and presence. The fox rested its head on her lap, tiny dragons curled near her feet, and winged cats twirled lazily in the branches overhead. She leaned back fully on the moss, letting the hum of the garden flow through her. Every sound, the soft rustle of leaves, the gentle trickle of glowing streams, the faint hum of starlight, was a lullaby, guiding her into a serene state of mind. Time seemed to stretch infinitely, each moment expanding slowly. She allowed herself to sink completely into the garden's rhythm, feeling a profound sense of safety and belonging. Her thoughts softened, drifting like the glowing lights around her. Every flicker, every gentle movement whispered patience, gratitude, and the quiet joy of being fully present. The garden's glow became warmer and deeper as she sank into stillness. Tiny lights floated lazily in the air, each a fragment of fallen stars carrying gentle energy. The fox curled at her side, small dragons rested in their mossy beds, and winged cats dozed overhead. Every being, every shimmer, every subtle hum existed in harmonious slow motion. Above, the sky deepened into midnight blue, and the moon's glow reflected across the glowing plants, creating gentle pools of light. She traced her fingertips across the moss and soft petals, feeling their warmth and subtle vibration. The garden seemed to breathe with her, a synchronized rhythm that enveloped her heart in tranquility. A pond nearby shimmered faintly, reflecting falling stars that kissed the surface. Tiny water spirits emerged, delicate and translucent, weaving through the ripples in slow, mesmerizing patterns. She watched, mesmerized, feeling each movement, each pulse of light, echo gently in her chest. Patience, attentiveness, and quiet wonder, the garden's teachings, were clear in every gesture. She leaned back, closing her eyes fully, letting the soft warmth of the moss, the fox, the dragons, and the gentle glow of starlight cradle her. The garden's pulse and quiet magic wrapped around her, like a slow, gentle lullaby. She felt herself drifting, floating on the delicate rhythm of life, starlight, and magic. In that peaceful, suspended moment, she realized the truth of the Starfall Garden. The most profound magic exists in small, patient, and attentive moments. Wonder resides in gentle observation, in mindful presence, and in the care we bring to everything we notice. She exhaled deeply, allowing herself to melt entirely into the night, the garden, and the infinite quiet rhythm of magic. The fox snuggled closer, the dragons emitted faint warmth, and the winged cat's soft breathing mingled with the night air. The garden whispered slowly, gently, "You are safe, you are present, you are part of this calm world." And with that, she drifted fully into sleep, carried on the luminous, gentle heartbeat of the Starfall Garden, wrapped in patient light, quiet magic, and infinite peace. The garden seemed to breathe with the slow rhythm of night. Tiny sparks of starlight drifted lazily across the mossy floor, brushing petals and leaves, each leaving a faint warmth behind. She wandered slowly along a winding path, feeling the soft glow beneath her feet. The fox followed closely, its luminous tail brushing gently against her ankles, leaving trails of silvery light that faded softly into the moss. Ahead, she saw a grove of starfall lilies, their petals glowing faintly, each flower cradling a tiny sleeping creature. Some resembled miniature foxes, others tiny dragons, and a few like delicate winged cats. They twitched slightly in their sleep, sending gentle ripples of light into the surrounding plants. She paused, kneeling to watch them, feeling a quiet reverence. Every creature, even in rest, seemed part of the garden's slow, deliberate rhythm. A soft breeze moved through the grove, carrying the subtle fragrance of night-blooming flowers. She closed her eyes for a moment, breathing deeply, feeling the air pulse with a gentle, invisible heartbeat. The fox curled at her side, eyes half closed, and the tiny dragons on nearby branches exhaled softly, glowing brighter in the moonlight. She realized then that the garden was teaching patience, not as a rule, but as an experience, a presence she could feel in her chest. By the pond, water nymphs began to stir, their translucent forms weaving intricate patterns across the shimmering surface. She sat down at the water's edge, letting her fingers trail in the liquid light. Each ripple carried a soft vibration, echoing like the hum of the entire garden. She watched the stars above reflected in the pond, each one mirrored perfectly, creating a sky within a sky. She thought about how life, like the garden, is full of layers of quiet wonder, if only one moves slowly enough to notice. A cluster of winged cats descended gently to join her, their soft purring merging with the distant hum of falling stars. She leaned back on the moss, letting the creatures nestle around her. The gentle warmth of their bodies, the soft glow of luminescent plants, and the rhythmic falling of stars created a cocoon of calm. She realized that the garden's magic was subtle and infinite, existing not in spectacle, but in slow observation, in patience, and in being fully present for every small detail. As she exhaled slowly, she felt herself becoming part of the garden's rhythm. Her heartbeat aligned with the fox's, with the nymph's ripples, and with the slow, deliberate pulse of falling stars. She allowed herself to drift along this current, floating in stillness and calm, and for the first time that night, she felt entirely weightless, entirely safe, and entirely at peace. The moon dipped slightly lower, casting longer shadows across the glowing plants. Tiny creatures stirred, not in urgency, but in gentle curiosity. She rose slowly, walking among the luminous flowers, noticing how each petal caught a fragment of starlight, bending it softly like liquid silver. The fox trotted ahead, weaving between stems, while small dragons flickered beside her, their ember-like scales sending sparks into the air that dissolved gently. She came upon a small clearing where a single massive tree stood, its branches stretched wide, leaves glimmering like clusters of tiny stars. At its base was a ring of soft moss, perfect for sitting, so she lowered herself carefully. A gentle wind flowed through the branches, carrying whispers of the night garden, a soft symphony of voices that spoke not with words, but with feeling, tranquility, wonder, gratitude, and kindness. A stream flowed nearby, its surface catching the faint reflection of falling stars. Tiny water spirits danced above it, trailing silver light behind them. She dipped her fingers into the water again, feeling its warmth pulse against her skin, as if the pond itself recognized her presence and welcomed her fully. The garden was alive, yet patient, and every heartbeat, every breath she took seemed to echo back in harmony with the soft life around her. Above, a final cascade of stars began to fall, slower than before, deliberate and gentle, bathing the clearing in delicate light. The fox rested against her side, its eyes reflecting the sky. The winged cats twirled overhead lazily, their shadows dancing across the moss. Even the small dragons and glowing mushrooms seemed to lean into the soft rhythm of this moment. She understood that every element of the garden existed in quiet service to peace, and that by moving slowly and observing, she could join in this gentle magic. She lay back on the moss, the fox curled beside her, the dragons tucked close, and the winged cats above, creating a living canopy of warmth, glow, and calm. Stars fell steadily, each one a soft note, in the lullaby of the garden. Her eyelids grew heavier, each blink drawing her closer to the serene edge between wakefulness and dream. The final lesson came softly, without words. The smallest moments carry the deepest magic. Patience, kindness, attention, and wonder. These are the lights that guide us, quiet and steady, through the night. She felt herself drifting fully, carried on the gentle pulse of the Starfall Garden, wrapped in luminescence, soft sounds, and the infinite calm of a world where time moves slowly, intentionally, and gently. As she surrendered to sleep, the garden's heartbeat and the soft whisper of falling stars became one with hers. She was cradled, fully safe, fully seen, and fully part of the quiet, magical rhythm that would lull her into a deep, peaceful rest.